Welcome back to the Big Screen Bros podcast. We got your boy Chaos King. We
Nobody
got
calls you that.
we got Ash. We got we call him Naps, aka ROK, aka the one and only, the future of TikTok,
Don't
YouTube
say that. That's so
Shorts.
cringe. I want to die now.
Naps reacts. And you know what? We went back to watching movies this week, and we watched Dogma from 1999, right? Or 97?
I didn't even pay
1997,
attention
yeah,
to it.
1997.
Yeah.
It just
From
it came
from
out
what's his name? Matt.
when I was 2 year old.
I was older than two.
You were 4,
I was four.
and Roku
How
Roku
old were
was
you?
Roku was in his 20s.
Yeah.
Wait. This 1997. I was born in 1983, so
You're
I would
practically
be
37.
14. I would be 14 when I saw this, or 15.
You're of legal drinking age.
No, dude. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. When I was around that era, 14 or 15, I started liking Kevin Smith movies. I like Clerks. I really like Mallrats, and Dogma came out since it attacked religion and everything. It didn't really.
I think when I first saw Dogma, it was just on TV. There's something about it because I've seen Kevin Smith movies before, but this one just stood out so much.
Oh no, in my case, I rented it. I remember, I think in Blockbuster or something like that. But I watched all the Kevin Smith movies and I liked all of them. He had like a very particular kind of '90s style that spoke to like the grungy kids or like the alternative kids. Um, so his movies were cool to me, and Dogma was one of those. So I saw
Yeah.
it, and after that, I saw it a couple of more times. And for a while, I think I mentioned it as one of my favorite movies. For a while, it didn't, hold up to the point where I say it's one of my favorite movies now. But it used to
Wow.
be one of my favorites.
This movie
Yeah.
was fantastic.
It was. It was pretty good. Yeah.
It reminds me how smart I was as a child because I knew from the moment I saw it how good it was. And then all these years later, I watched it again and I was right.
No, dude. One of the things that I remember that me and my friends made a meme about in our inner circle was about Metatron and how he has no body parts.
90s,
Yeah, because memes are
made a
not.
meme.
What I'm talking about is like a recurring joke or something that you use from like a movie or something, and you imply it into like you insert it into conversations because everybody remembers it and it's funny. That's sort of like a meme, bro.
like an ongoing joke.
Exactly. It was
Yeah.
when Metatron. It was.
We call those ongoing jokes.
It's like a meme, bro.
Yo, okay, this question just came to me right now. So like, Selma Hayek, she was a muse. She didn't have
Yeah.
a sexual body part, but you can still stick it up her ass.
Bro, what the
Nice, Ash. Nice, very nice.
Somebody bleep him.
I don't think he said anything that. I mean, it's kind of based though. I'm gonna leave that in.
So, based off the movie, all angels don't have private parts.
No,
So
they don't have asses either, Ash. Sorry to tell you.
the only thing you can use is their mouth.
Yeah, basically.
I guess the only thing that you can get from her is a blowjob and a tits job.
And a hand.
Yeah, hand job too.
It's funny to me because every director that's gonna cast Salma Hayek is gonna pitch it to her. Okay, in this scene, you're gonna be a stripper, and you're gonna be showing off your hot body because you're Salma Hayek. Okay, everybody kind of wants to do it with you,
That's
so
true.
you kind of have to accept that. And she's like, "Okay, I will do that, Mister Director," because she has that heavy. He still has that heavy accent, bro, which makes her. It works for her. You know what I mean?
Is there such a thing as a bad heavy accent?
Yeah, so if you go looking enough, every accent turns in. If you look at Antonio Banderas, he still sounds like he's Mexican.
Or if you're Borat.
But yeah,
So,
we should talk about a little bit about the movie.
so the premise of the movie is two angels, Loki and what was it
Bartleby.
Beezus,
Bartleby.
Bartleby. They were kicked out of heaven because they decided to go against God. And pretty much the way it is when God kicks you out of heaven, you can't get back into heaven. But a demon, Azazel,
Asriel.
Azrael.
Azrael. So I know too many demon names from Supernatural. Sorry, Azrael. He has a way for them to get back into heaven, and if you go against God's will, pretty much proving that God was wrong,
Yeah.
everything God created would cease to exist. So Azrael's plan is to destroy everything because he got kicked out of heaven because he chose not to fight when Lucifer turned on God, and he got sent to hell. So it's pretty much the humans, the what's her name? The Cypher. What's the girl's name?
Bethany.
Yeah, her. She got the prophets, Jay and Silent Bob. You have Chris Rock. He is the
Rufus.
13th apostle.
Rufus.
Yeah, he's Rufus.
Rufus, the 13th apostle. Jesus isn't in this, but Jesus is black.
Body Crisis.
Yeah, and they got Professor Snape. He is
Metatron. He's the voice of God.
Yeah, voice of God. Time anyone gets a message from God is actually from Metatron.
Dude, you know what's interesting? You know what's interesting, at least to me, and this is gonna be interesting to any Shin Megami Tensei fans out there. You guys don't even know about this. You guys don't even know. Metatron is one of the angels that you can get in the game, and it's one of the stronger angels that you can fuse way later in the game. And that's why I always remember Metatron, because Metatron in the game is portrayed like he's like a steel angel, like Iron Man if he was an angel.
If you've ever watched Supernatural, you would know Metatron is still the voice of God, but he's not powerful. He is the voice, but he wants to overtake God and become God.
Okay, that's because Supernatural is crap. It's all fan fiction. But go ahead.
In Supernatural, God is based. Lucifer is based.
Okay, so the first beginning scene of this movie is kind of important, but you don't realize it until afterwards. The first scene is basically there's basically a guy in a pier, and he's just looking over the beach. He's kind of taking in the surroundings, and then you see the mighty ducks from hell show up, which is like the three little hockey demons that Trio has recruited. So anyway, this person that they knock unconscious turned out to be God. On vacation on Earth. They at this point they haven't explained any of that. So, but this movie does like a good job at setting up like the future plot of the movie. They don't ever explain it, but once you know what's happening, you can look back and say, "Oh, right, they did put some clues in," or like stuff like that.
Right. Like when the prophets Jay and Silent Bob first meet the girl, there's a point where Jay just wants to have sex, and they're having a conversation. And he's like, so we're supposed to save the world, whatever. So let's say it's the end of the world and we only got 5 minutes left to live. Will you have sex with me then? And she's like, well, that's a very specific scenario. That's never going to happen. But if it does, okay. And then we get to the end of the movie. 5 minutes left till the world's destroyed. And Jay's like, yeah, whatever. Let's have sex. It's our last time.
But remember, I would have remembered too, honestly.
Yeah. So they did do that a lot of foreshadowing that you didn't think would happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's another example. And then they show up main character, which is Bethany, and she's in church, and she's in the Catholic Church, and she's not really enjoying it. And I'm gonna say this for the Catholic Church and for evangelical churches: you really do need a charismatic priest or pastor. If you don't have like a charismatic priest, church is going to be really boring.
See,
you know what I mean?
The fact that you need a priest to make church exciting is the first problem. I use the influence of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and his Father God. Some would say mother, and that's what makes me excited to be at church every Sunday.
You know, I'm gonna give you an example. Not that long ago, my aunt died, right? And my aunt was a very...
I'm sorry for your loss.
I don't.
Ash is sorry too.
I didn't hear Ash say it. Okay, so
Bro, I heard like
no. Whatever. You don't care if my aunt is dead. It's cool, bro. Okay, I get it. You wish her dead and whatever. Okay.
no.
The point is,
I
the
was
point is,
I was going
no,
to ask you.
bro. I don't need your excuses right
Bro,
now.
is
I'm gonna
she
be
the
honest.
same aunt you stole money from?
Yes, it is.
Okay, just wanted
Bro,
to make
that damn. I'm glad you didn't go to the funeral. Okay, so the point is,
sure.
I was in her funeral because she was a very devout Catholic, and I was in her funeral, and one of her priests, I think, the priest of that church was African. He's from African descent. He's not Puerto Rican, so he speaks like kind of like a little bit of broken Spanish.
Oh,
Um. Anyway, what this guy didn't have in like in terms of language, he made up for like in terms of heart, and he spoke very from the heart, and he was a very captivating priest when he was talking. I was surprised that I was captivated by the words he was saying. So that made me realize it doesn't matter if you're Catholic or like evangelical. If you have like a good priest that can captivate you and take you along with the message that they're doing, you're not gonna be bored. You know what I mean? So church doesn't have to specifically be boring, but also you.
But here's my thing: who relies on a priest to make church exciting? I think the most exciting part about church is learning about my Lord and Savior.
Jesus Christ, you're such a good little boy. Are you trying to go to heaven? Because you're not, bro. You can see them. You can sending me the reels. You're sending me on Instagram. You're not going to heaven. You know this.
Look,
I'm
I got
not going either.
Okay, I'm forgiven.
Yeah, you're gonna start sending me Christian reels now. Well, anyway, the point is that she's in a boring Catholic church and she goes back to her job, and then Janine Garofalo is there for no reason. And then
They had a lot of big name actors in this movie, who I guess they weren't as big back then, but they would go on to be pretty big.
Janine Garofalo is not big as an actress or as anything really.
But she's known.
Janine Garofalo is one of the pioneers of like 90s alternative comedy, but she didn't get that much credit for it. But aside from that, she didn't amount. I mean, she's done her stuff, but she was also a Mystery Man. Remember that movie?
No.
There's very few films that I can mention with Janine Garofalo that are great. But
I mean,
she's
it doesn't have to be great.
no, she's there at the job, and and she's talking about how she's questioning, God and religion. God isn't real. She's becoming an atheist, and then
The best of us, It's
yeah,
part of your-
this girl doesn't know yet that she's the descendant of Christ,
yeah.
and she's like, God is bullshit and all that. She's talking all this trash talk without knowing anything. And then I think after that they show the scene with George Carlin as the priest who's trying to entice people to come to make the Catholic religion a lot more appealing to the youth.
And like you said earlier, he's a great speaker.
Dude, one of the reasons that I like this film is because George Carlin, as a comedian, has always talked about religion and how flawed it is. You know what I mean? And this is the only movie where I saw a director say, hey, if we're gonna use a guy that's cynical about religion, let's cast George Carlin. That's like his whole thing. You know what I mean? And that's why he was so good at on doing it. At this role, because he already believes that kind of stuff.
Especially so, like towards the end of the movie, they actually talk to him. They have a one-on-one conversation with the priest to try to. So the angels have to get into the church, and they want the church shut down so the angels can't get in. And they have a conversation with him, and he really does a good job of being like, yeah, look, the Catholic Church is flawed, but we're not doing that. I believe in our system. And you can hear like his tone talking about how the way he's talking.
No, he's portrayed he's portrayed as a businessman that's trying to get the church to get more views, basically, to be more popular. So he's like, okay, so we're gonna try to appeal to the youth, and that's why they made the body Christ, which in my opinion is about a Christ. He's like winking at you and nodding at you. Yeah.
Body Christ.
Yeah, he's telling you like, you got this, bro. You know what I mean? That's like his pose. So I do think that
the Antichrist was the one with the thorns and he's to the cross. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
very
one was
depressing.
good. Buddy Christ.
Exactly. I do think that when they wrote The Priest, Josh Carlin had to be in there and probably wrote most of his parts along with Kevin
I,
Smith.
I would say that for every actor in this movie.
I would say that for Chris Rock too, because
Yep.
Chris Rock is another comedian, and what this movie did is like it allowed Chris Rock as a comedian to riff on the subject of religion too. You know what I mean? So
Like, what other black actors from then could they have put? Because Chris Rock's been big for like, he was still popping, or he was pretty popular in the 90s. Like,
yeah, he was, and he's always been a great stand-up comedian. And he's like he would be like a stand-up comedian that would riff on religion. You know what I mean? They could have added other comedians that are not as well known, maybe like Dave Attell. They could have added David Cross. All of them would have like.
Chris Rock has such a big following. I think that's what helps us. And, I think they all know Kevin Smith, too. So that's another thing.
Yeah, so basically, at one point, the little three hockey demons, they basically learn about the Scion girl. So they come up to attack her at a parking lot, right?
Yeah.
But she was parking her car, and this is where we're introduced to the so-called prophets, which are like Jay and Silent Bob.
So they knock her keys under her car, and she's trying to reach it. And while she's turned around, Jay and Silent Bob beat up the little skateboard demons and save her. And
you like Jay
while they're talking.
Yeah.
Hey, these are the prophets. And we forgot to mention Severus Snape. I don't know his name, but he played the angel Metatron, and he appears to her in a dream, telling her, "Hey, you're the chosen Scion," and he pretty much and then tells them that there's gonna be prophets looking for her, and that's how she knows that's Jay and Silent Bob.
You were laughing at everything that Jay said, Chaos.
He is a very
Chaos was me in a Korean movie.
He was.
He was
No,
laughing
Jay-
at everything.
Jay is a funny because he's like he's not acting, he's just being a real regular person.
He's
Do you know
a
what-
bad
do-
boy.
You know what's funny? I've heard Kevin Smith talk about Jay, the character of Jay, and he said, "Okay, I when I made this character, I was thinking of him how he was in high school. So he's basically playing how he acted in high school forever. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
And he is a very blunt character. Like he says, "We're gonna have sex with you. You're gonna repay us with sex." He reminds me of like this future of TikTokers that just say kind of whatever comes to their mind with no filter. He would have been big. He would have been big on TikTok. Jay, for sure.
Bro, I don't know about today.
Oh yeah, today, because even today, this guy's speaking like that. You know what I mean? Look at Andrew Tate, how he became famous, and Sneeko and all those guys.
Who?
A bald guy. That's enough.
Oh, bald people. We don't like them, right?
But I do like Jay. I think he's probably the best thing about this movie is probably Jay.
That's not even true. Did you watch the movie? Look, I am the biggest hater of
Ben Affleck. But
Ben
you like
Affleck.
him.
But he was a star role in this. Him and Matt Damon, fantastic. But Ben Affleck put him above Matt Damon.
Yeah, Ben Affleck, like, at first I was like, Matt Damon is shining, but then Ben Affleck, when he got more lines and, like, more of his personality started to show, he was a conflicted character. There were a lot of...
Yes, he was.
And
He
was
really
able to-
was in the background, letting Matt Damon's character Loki do all the bad work. And then once they got into that scene on the train,
Yeah.
and he realized this is the Scion and they're trying to kill them,
He
that's when he
snapped.
took over. And he became, like, when I saw him there, I was like, this man would be a fantastic Batman. Obviously, he didn't age well, but
You would think. You would think.
But then he became a fat man instead of
Yeah.
a Batman.
Bro, I don't know. I'm not even gonna knock on Ben Affleck. He has been with two Jennifers, three, probably even four Jennifers. So
well, he's been with Jennifer Lopez twice.
I know. But anyway, So yeah, she's basically tasked to have this holy crusade to stop these two angels to from getting their repentance, I guess,
Yeah.
and going back into heaven. And that's she's kind of coping
So,
with the whole thing.
and her whole team, Jay and Silent Bob. We got Chris Rock,
Yep.
Severus Snape, and then Selma Hayek is a muse who fell to Earth. She also joins their team. Pretty much them versus the angels and the demons.
Yeah, and then you have Asriel kind of orchestrating it a little bit from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Uh,
And in the
ah,
end, the battle itself, the battle wasn't anything crazy. They obviously could have ended it earlier, but it was more so we saw Matt Damon Matt Damon he started out as a monster in all his scenes. He was the big bad guy. And as we go throughout the movie, he's slowly realizing he's becoming more human. He's realizing this plan is crazy. He doesn't want to just kill, and destroy. And then on the other hand, Ben Affleck's character, he's just the sidekick we think at first. And then he starts taking over more, starts running things, and he becomes the monster.
he does.
And like we get like some scenes where they're trying to put their own sense of justice out there. And we got Matt Damon being like, hey, I think that guy's cheating. And Ben Affleck's like, oh, he's not. He's got a wedding ring. So they ask the guy, hey, are you married? And he's like, yeah. Are you married to that girl? And he's like, it's not your business, but no, I'm not. And then Matt Damon will pull out a gun and shoot him. They'll go to like a big like Disney type. I don't know. It's like some company with a pig, but it's pretty much Disney.
It's called the movie company, yeah, and they kind of represent Mickey Mouse, I think.
Yeah. And he says, he's showing them like you're making false idols. All you people are sinners except for the one lady there. He tells them all what they've been doing. Like, I think one person was into like the P word with children. People were cheating on their wives. Like,
Yeah, that's actually even as a teenager when I watched this film, that was always one of my favorite scenes when they go to corporate and exposes everybody. They expose everybody's secrets,
yeah.
and how they're horrible human beings. And
Then he makes a big scene, walks out, and then he comes back. I forgot what did he say when he left? He was he said he had this one liner, and then he came back in. Do you remember what he said before he killed them?
no, I don't remember.
Well, he kills them all, and then the girl that's left, he's like, "You're the only innocent one. You want some gun?" And she's like, she takes the gun, and she's nervous. And then he's like, "But you didn't say bless you. You didn't say God bless you when I sneezed." And he's about to kill her, and then Ben Affleck stops him. He's like, "Oh, you're so."
Yeah, yeah, that's a funny scene because
And
he's
as
so
the movie,
pent up. He has the adrenaline rush of having killed everybody, so he kind of wants to kill her too.
yeah. But then, like towards the end of the movie, he's the complete opposite. He's become a human. He regrets everything they just did. But when Ben Affleck becomes a human, he's still full of hate and rage.
Now, let me try to describe their relationship. Basically, Ben Affleck is an introvert,
They're gay.
and okay, maybe. Ben Affleck is an introvert, and Matt Damon is an extrovert. Matt Damon, every time he has something, every emotion, he kind of lets it out. He wears it on his sleeves.
Okay.
And in contrast, you have Ben Affleck, which is an introvert, so he kind of represses all his emotions, and then they blow up in the end, which makes it even worse.
That's a really good example.
That's
Kudos. That's a really good example.
Oh well, yeah, it kind of is. That's why the relationship kind of shifted in terms of like power dynamics because Ben Affleck was always the one that was holding back Matt Damon, and now Matt Damon can hold back Ben Affleck. You know what I mean? So their power of rage is way different.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the whole thing is that Loki, Matt Damon, he's used to killing people in the name of God. That's how he used to please him. So he's like, okay, I'm good at my job. I kind of like killing. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do that to please him, and that's why he killed all those people. Uh, but yeah,
That was the main thing. He only kills for God, so he only kills sinners.
exactly. Yeah.
But Matt Damon or Ben Affleck's different. He
No, Ben
doesn't
Affleck does. Yeah.
until he does. It's just for whatever reason he wants to kill.
No, but if you notice in the movie, Matt, as angels, they're in a different section, right? Because Matt Damon was the angel of death, while Ben Affleck was just a watcher.
Yeah.
So his job was basically just to watch humanity. And when you look at the beginning of the film, they're in an airport, and Ben Affleck is just watching people at the airport because that's what he's used to, just watching people.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. So basically, at this point, yeah, Ben Affleck is going crazy. They're at the church. They're going to pass through the archway.
So the whole premise is once they walk into the church, they then need to cut off their wings, and when an angel cuts off their wings, they become human, and then once they're killed, they'll go to heaven.
You missed one step. So when they go inside the church and come outside of it, they become pure. And then they cut off their wings, they become human. So now they are pure human beings. Then they die, and then they go to heaven.
Right, basically, because this archway or like this, just stepping into the church, it's gonna absolve you of all your sins. So that's why you're gonna come out pure again. And after you're pure, all you do is you have to die, and then you go to heaven.
Church
Not
is basically a washing machine. I'm gonna clean.
So at this point, we get to a point where Azrael, he captured everybody, and they have a big showdown with him and his 3 demons versus the whole squad. And pretty much, Selma Hayek has holy water. They kill the demons, and they use a blessed weapon to kill Azrael by hitting. It's a golf club. It's one of God's weapons, and he hits.
Yeah, it's one of the golf clubs from the cardinal because he blessed them, and then that made him a holy weapon.
And then they see on the TV that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are going crazy, killing everybody outside the church. So they have to go there now and stop them. And the big battle, by the time they get there, they've already gone into the church. It's just becoming human now. And Matt Damon's wings are gone, so he's human.
No, Chaos. They haven't gone into the church to be absolved. So neither of them was absolved.
Yeah, no, they literally asked them.
No, because remember at the end, he's running to cross the church because he hasn't come in yet. They waited until they were human first before they crossed the archway.
When they arrived, Selma Hayek asked Matt Damon, "Have you already gone inside the church?" And he's drunk and his wings are gone. And then they say, "Yes, he has."
They never clarified that he did. Actually, they clarified. They clarified that they didn't because look, dude, listen to me. At that point where she says, "Have you gone inside the archway inside the church yet?" or whatever, you can hear Ben Affleck from the heavens scream, "No!" and then he comes down. So they were basically waiting for that part, but they haven't done it yet. Bro, really, you can go back and watch the film, and they tell you.
Play the scene.
This motherfucker, oh my gosh, pull up the movie again. I'm telling you for real. They became human first before they walked into the church. They were waiting to do that afterwards.
You can find the clip on YouTube. Don't worry.
I can find it, but I know I'm right, so I don't have to find it.
No, I mean to put it when you on the edit, you know? Isn't that what we were saying?
I know, but I know I'm right, so I don't have to find it.
You're wrong. And then you can play the clip afterwards, after this, and then you can see who's right. And it's gonna be me.
It's already me, and I'm not gonna do that. Okay.
You're such a sinner.
Ash, what do you think?
It doesn't matter, right?
Ash didn't even pay attention, so he's like, "It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, bro."
So Matt Damon Ben Affleck comes down with his angel wings, and he's got his suit on. It's a nice suit. The wings are like the angel wings. They look a little off when they're
they do.
But when the wings are open, they look right. But when they're closed, they look like they're too low down on their body.
Because the thing was that so they made it like a solid figure and it wasn't aligned properly. So when it closes, it just
Yeah.
not proper.
But when they're open, they look good.
Yeah.
But this was not. This was the '90s. I get they
Yeah.
but like they used a green screen. Like remember that scene where the three demons, they have like a green screen. They cut and they just jump inside of it.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be them cutting into space and time.
I mean, I thought it looked okay. This movie has minimal CGI. To its credit.
The fire when Metatron appears. I think that was the only other thing.
Yeah, Metatron appears and then gate opens up and God.
Yeah.
I do like the scene. I do like one of the scenes at the beginning where he's explaining to her, "Well, yeah, you're gonna have to go on this mission," and she's like, "Well, who am I to go on this mission?" And he's like, "You're the girl in the PJ. Shut up and take the mission." Like, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, they had the script was good for this type of comedy. They had a lot of lines like that. Or just funny.
like when she talked about religion, Jay was like, "Oh my God! Out of all the sluts we can pull, we pulled up a church freak."
I love that scene too because that she's talking to them and they don't care, right?
Yeah.
But when she says, "Do you guys believe in God?" They just step back and look at her like, "Oh no, she's one of those crazies."
And this is like when they first meet, and he's still just trying to have sex.
Yeah, that's a great scene too. And so is the scene where they're fighting in the train, right? Because they eventually come across each other, and they basically tell each other's plan. I mean, the angels come across the. Go ahead.
Yeah, because all the humans are drunk, and they're just talking.
Exactly. And Matt Damon smoking a joint with Jay and Silent Bob.
Well,
They kind of vibe him.
He pretends because he's like he doesn't smoke, so he just puts it to his mouth, like puts his head down. Does what he did.
So yeah, at that scene, eventually the angels do discover that the Zion is supposed to stop them, and they have a fight in that train, and basically they kick all the angels off from the train.
Matt Smith kicks them off the train.
Yeah, but then after the fight, they show that there was a passenger there watching the whole thing.
And this is Silent Bob's. The only thing he says in the movie.
No ticket.
He looks at him.
No ticket.
Well, technically,
He shrugs.
he said one more
No
thing,
ticket.
thanks.
That's so funny. It's such a great. To its core, it's such a great joke. So yeah, that joke was very funny.
Because this guy just watched.
No tickets? Okay, yeah, you know what makes sense.
He just watched him almost murder two people.
Another thing was, who was it? Yeah, Ben Affleck. Yeah, like, can't you just let me get off at the next stop?
Yeah, I will say Matt Damon was very charming in this movie and that character. He was very charismatic. And like you said, Chaos, so was Ben Affleck. Honestly, this is one of the best roles that I've seen from him.
Yeah, this is the most acting Ben Affleck has done. Most emotions he has shown.
And it's good that he did it with Matt Damon because they're friends or they have been buds in real life.
Because the thing is that in later on, most of the movies, like, he's more of either a corporate dude or like his characters don't have much range. Here, he had more range than any of the characters he got later on.
But this is like the early stages of their career.
Yeah.
So
Which is kind of sad. Like you would think, like, as you get like better at acting, you would get roles with more range. But the thing is that, like, even in Gone Girl, his acting was good, but it didn't have much range. It was like 102 tone. Same with like
No, bro. The problem with Gone Girl is that crazy girl stole the show.
yeah.
She was too good.
No,
Like when I saw that lady beat herself up,
no, no, no.
doesn't she like sexually attack it herself?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah. I'm like, God damn.
no.
Okay,
But
this
but
lady
then
needs an Oscar.
that's where like his character, whatever acting Ben Affleck had to do was like not that much. Like he didn't have to show that much. Right? Same with like his accountant role or his other role where he's like a serious person, a businessman, or like a CIA person, or like some other fucking corporate.
when he's
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. But like but like Matt Damon, he's always had different types of things.
Yeah. Matt Damon
It's just
chooses
they
different
get
kind of projects. Yeah.
they get to choose because they became pretty popular. But like Matt Damon's always been one of those guys. Like if he knows you and you're a director, he'll help you out. Because he was in Euro Trip.
Yeah.
Remember what's that song?
Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know.
All time. Yeah, but the early stages of their career, they did a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah,
Especially Matt
I
Damon.
was just looking at Ben Affleck. He's a coach. Again, same kind of seriousness shit. Live by Night, same kind of seriousness shit. Down, he's a serious guy in that. Not much stuff he
What
has
about
to do. Hypnotic, same shit. Argo, same
Four,
shit.
Bro- Four Brothers?
I've heard that Argo was good, and I think I saw it. It was something about the Olympics, right? Some kind of like group or terrorist group or whatever. I think I saw that one.
Yeah, so like they basically take hostages in Iran? Yeah, Iran.
I saw it, and I remember him acting well, but I didn't think it was out of the norm or like a great performance.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like he has been like doing that kind of shit. In
Has he ever had a-
in Air, he had to show his comedic side or like some other business guy.
What comedic? That was terrible.
Remember, he didn't wear shoes. That's kind of kooky and unique. He didn't wear shoes, bro. He liked to be barefoot. But yeah, we should get to the end. Basically, at the point, it's the final confrontation. Ben Affleck, Bartleby is running to go inside the church. He already has his wing cut off because Jay shot him with a machine gun.
So we
So-
should mention the girl and Jay. They had sex. In
They
like
didn't.
2 minutes, and then she ran off because she got a clue, and she goes to a near hospital that's near a. What does God like to play?
A skee ball.
Skee ball. It's near a skee ball place. So that was her whole clue. Like God sneaks off to play skee ball, and she goes to the hospital. She's someone on life support, and it turns out to be the guy from the very first scene of the movie.
Mhm.
He unplugs his thing, so it would essentially kill him. And when God dies in human form, he returns to heaven, or she returns, and then God can go back to being God. And when Ben Affleck opens up the doors to the church, there is Severus Snape and God. And who was playing God?
Alanis Morissette, a Canadian girl. But you know, that reminds me, that scene, Avatar did that too. I think that's what happens with like the first season of Avatar, right? The god of the moon, in one night, he comes back as a fish, right? You guys remember?
What Avatar? The blue people?
No, Avatar, the Last Airbender. The moon, like the god of the moon or whatever, who rules over the waterbenders. He comes back as a fish one night, and that's how they're able to kill him.
That's Sokka's girlfriend. Princess Yue?
Yeah, exactly. She shares the life energy with a fish, right?
Well, no, she dies. She sacrifices herself and becomes the new fish.
Okay, okay. That's more convoluted than this, but the basic point is that God comes down to Earth once in a while in a human form, and once he's in a human form, you can kill God, and he would just be dead.
No,
Bro, but God is retarded.
if God
You
dies
gotta
in human
watch it.
form, he goes
I
back to
can't
heaven.
say that.
That's why you don't come back as a fish, because fish can't draw weapons or anything like that. They're just stupid fish.
So
People
when
can
God
eat
comes
fish.
out Ben Affleck starts apologizing. God hugs him, and then Severus Snape is like, anybody who's not dead or an angel from the other
Over
world,
the years.
they
And then
cover Jay's,
and God
and
turns into the
he's singing
what was the Marvel character that's
Black Bolt.
Black Bolt?
I wish. I wish he would have turned into Black Bolt. Is it called? Yeah.
Yeah, Black
Yeah.
Bolt.
Yeah, because Black Bolt is very subtle. He comes up to you, close to you, and he kind of whispers at you, and that's enough to kill
So
you. But this girl opened her big ass, wide out Canadian mouth and started screeching like Sindel from Mortal Kombat, and she actually did the fatality from Sindel in Mortal Kombat when she screams at you and you just blow up, and that's what happened to Ben Affleck. He just blew up,
His
and
head
he
blew
wasn't
up.
absolved.
His head
his head.
blew up. His lips
Then
blew up, but his torso was still all right.
and then Jay stayed up after she stopped. Jay stayed up and he's like, "What the fuck is going on? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck is this bitch? What the fuck is she doing here?" Everyone's looking at him, and then God walks up to him, kisses him on the cheek, and Jay's like, "Whoa."
Bro, that made me think. Okay, because they say that heroin it feels better than it feels 10,000 times better or like 1,000 times better than your best orgasm. So what would be the orgasm if God kisses you? That's gonna be like 1,000 times orgasm, and that's probably why he fell over to the floor. It's
Bro,
like, oh my god,
bro, you talking about God kissing? What about the God giving blowjob?
Oh my god.
that never happened in the movie. What scene was that?
Happens in the movie. What were you watching? You're obsessed with this stuff, Ash. You keep bringing it up.
No, but yeah, I would imagine like even a simple kiss from God on the cheek. It's gotta feel like the greatest orgasm in your life.
And then, so whenever she unplugged the dude from the life support, she bled out and died. And
Yep.
they said because she's the martyr, so she has to die. So God brings her back from the dead.
After
And-
the silent Bob is like, he brings the dead lady
Yeah.
and was like, she's dead.
Well, he doesn't say it, but he's like, he's shrugging.
Yeah,
That's his thing, shrugging. So they bring her back, and then turns out she got pregnant from Jay in those 2 minutes. So always be careful.
Yeah,
So the side-
Jay kissed her and she became pregnant. So always be careful. Wear condom on your lips.
No, he did more than that. They actually
bro, there's no condom that could interfere with the divine. I mean, that would be a really good condom.
I think there is.
So they'll be like, it even stops God from being pregnant and making you pregnant. So
There actually is.
I
It's called
really
the-
still wonder, like, what the fuck was Joseph on when Mary got pregnant? He's like, so I didn't even fuck you. How the fuck did you get pregnant? It's God.
called-
okay. Joseph was like, really?
It's called-
you want me to believe that shit? And then three people walk up and they're like, we hear silent night. And he's like, who are these weirdos again? Are they the one who fucked you behind my back?
Ash, it's called having faith. You wouldn't know anything about that.
Bro, it's called being retarded.
that's just right, dude. If I was Joseph and my wife came up to me and she's like, hey, listen, I'm pregnant, I would be like, who did you sleep with? And she would be like, nah, it wasn't actually anybody. It's God's kid.
Yeah.
I would be like, who the fuck is God? Who's God again? Oh yeah, he's this. There's an angel that came to my house. So wait, you fucked an angel and God? What's happening here?
Well,
And he would be like, what's an angel too? Because they haven't explained any of the law yet.
it was the Holy Spirit, okay?
Yeah, Holy Spirit came and was like, hey, here's a little glowing light. I just touch your stomach and that light will go inside of you and it will turn into a light.
No, if I had been Joseph, I would have been like, listen, you don't need to make up this incredible elaborate lie to
Just
tell me
say
you got
that you
pregnant by my
cheated on
brother or
me.
something.
Just
Just
be
tell me the
honest.
truth. Exactly. But nah.
Bro, and
you
imagine,
little-
imagine the most funniest part, like let's just say Jesus was black. And then comes and Mary says like, okay, God came. And he's like, okay, alright. And then a black baby pops out.
I mean, Jesus,
He's like, you were fucking the slaves? You're saying slaves are God? Oh my god, that would have been.
I don't appreciate you mocking my Father who are in heaven.
Oh, by. Oh, okay, sorry, okay. I won't say that the
Thank,
Jesus is black, I would say the Jesus is non denominational color. Nobody
thank you,
knows.
thank you for apologizing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Jesus is like sand.
I hate sand. You know, Anakin Skywalker. I hate sand.
I hate you.
It's funny because one of the rules of this movie is like you can't prove that God is wrong. God is infallible.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Why can't you prove that God is wrong? Or God that says like, yeah, I messed up, my bad, but I grew up.
Everything is a
Like
plan.
I
Even
learned,
when
I
he fucks.
matured.
Yeah, even when he fucks up, it's a plan. It's more of a divine plan that you can't understand. So they're like, God works in mysterious way.
Yeah, it's like a parents that never say he's sorry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though sometimes
Bro,
they mess up a little bit.
imagine you walk into like a church and masturbate and were caught and people were like, what the fuck are you doing? And you are like, it's a divine plan. I don't control it. But this
I
kind of
mean,
reminds me of that video. Remember I showed you where dad fucks his son's wife, saying that God entered his
Wait,
body.
wait. Did you say the dad fucks
I
his?
do remember that. Yeah.
And he didn't even do it once, was multiple times. Ah.
But, so I think one thing we got to remember about this movie, they put a warning before the movie started. It's pretty much like we're comedians making jokes. Don't get
You,
offended. And
you
this
know
is
what's
something
funny?
platypi.
I don't know why they mentioned a platypus because there were no platypus in the movie.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny, Chaos? Like a few days or maybe like a week ago, I was watching Kevin Smith on a video because the reporters there was a thing in the news that they were boycotting Dogma, and some of the reporter went into the crowd and it was Kevin Smith there with a sign.
Oh, yeah,
He, he
I
was
seen.
protesting his own movie, and they
Yeah,
asked him. He said something like, "This movie's not good," or "This movie doesn't have a good message," or whatever. So he was trolling people. He didn't
oh,
really care that much.
that's and there's no reason. There's not one reason to be mad about this movie because even in the end, even the angels, they're like, well, what did Chris Rock say before he left? It's like, oh,
What?
something about, but it was something deep. Like it's not that deep. This movie, it
Whoops.
wasn't
Well,
really.
no.
Where
This
is
movie has. Go ahead, Ash. My bad.
Whereas pussy, that's the reason.
Oh
Got
yeah,
that. Oh, that's true. We forgot to mention that. So, wait, yeah. Okay, so at the end, Bethany, basically, she gets a little window of time to talk to Alanis Morissette, which doesn't talk at all. So she asked her, "Why are we all here?" Like the ultimate question. And Kale said 42, which would have worked, but even better, Alanis Morissette
after
just
on the
taps her on the nose and
top.
says "WAP," and that's the answer to everything. The
What
thing
else?
is, God, this is genius, bro. This means that God knew about wet ass pussy like 20 years before it became a thing. He was that ahead of the trend, bro. So
He's
in 1997, God was living in 2022 or whatever. Uh, he's that advanced, bro.
like it was a great first and last word for God. WAP.
And it makes sense, dude. Wet ass pussy.
It took
God
you.
damn, yeah.
That is the secret to life. That's why we're here for WAP.
Exactly. It does make sense. And it makes more sense than 42. I'm going to be honest.
It honestly does. But yeah,
But
even
uh,
so as everyone's leaving, they're like, "Yeah, it was great working with you." Blah blah blah. God is a man. God is a woman. God's not really anything, you know. And, you know, this movie didn't really have a bad message. As someone who's read the Bible, the
it
whole Bible,
does. It does. It does.
have a bad message about religion. It has a bad message about people who are in religion.
No, exactly. This movie, it's not critiquing the love side of religion or the good things about religion. It's kind of critiquing all the. It's kind of
People.
critiquing. No, it's kind of critiquing organized religion,
Yeah.
which is different because they have a lot of doctrines and a lot of stuff that inhibits you and all that that
My,
maybe shouldn't be there. That's what this movie's questioning. You know what I mean? You can find God anywhere. It doesn't have to be a specific church or a specific religion. Uh, the problem is that with this message of this movie, it's kind of like defying the traditional message of all those religions. So in that way, this movie is like defying, like you know what I mean?
I
It's
don't
giving an alternative method to loving God, but it's a defiant method that goes against the traditional religions.
I don't think it's actually defying though.
It
Because
is.
people will go against it just because the people they had protesting the movie who hadn't even seen it, they're gonna go against it just because it's comedians making a movie about religion.
Yeah, and obviously because people they don't religion is one of those things that people get really heated about. I don't know why. Because
No, because
when
the thing is
when
that the reason why people get heated is because it's just emotions. Like there is no thought process behind it. So when you don't know the answer to something, you don't want to look like a foolish idiot, so you just get angry.
Why?
I the
Why?
problem is you could get angry and everything, but the thing is a non-believer is not ever gonna convince a believer.
That's
And
not
that's
true.
not their
Like
point, and
for
that's not their
example,
point.
politics. A lot of people just get angry even if you don't say.
That's true.
Because they just are like, okay, this is bad. They have been told that, but they haven't really thought of why XYZ is bad or why it has to be that. So when you question that, it just becomes like, because they have believed and they have lived by that. So it kind of makes them like, what the fuck? And they don't want to confront that idea, so they just get angry because they don't want to even think about it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't change their mind.
Yeah.
So even if you have these arguments or debates about
Yeah,
Christian beliefs or
because
your
you can
religion's
only,
beliefs,
yeah.
it doesn't matter much because neither
Yeah.
of the parties gonna be affected by it.
Yeah, it's the same reason why debate is useless, because at the end of the day, if you want to have a discussion or if you want to even talk about something, the other person has to be open-minded enough to absorb whatever you are saying.
Yeah, exactly.
And these people,
I
they
don't.
don't do that shit.
I don't agree with that. I think if you want to discuss, you can discuss. Your goal shouldn't be to change or to give someone an opinion. You're just discussing.
No,
Discussing
it's
doesn't
not.
require.
It's not the discussion. Like for example, with you, you don't listen. Like when you get stuck on something, you don't listen.
True.
Like whenever someone else is speaking, you won't even listen to what they're saying. You would just keep on repeating whatever you have to say,
Well, because
and then
you
irritate someone. Like hey,
out.
and
Yeah,
then
No,
he just takes the contrary opinion. He's a contrarian.
I'm not a contrarian. Just
Yes,
because
you are. You're leading to it right now.
I mean, you're making false statements about me.
Nah,
keep
you're a
yours
contrarian,
is
bro.
ego light,
You're
lighter.
making that I don't believe in, so I should agree with you. That makes no sense.
Nah, right then, tell us what you believe then.
I believe that we all die.
Okay,
It's a
great.
wonderful belief,
I,
brother.
Great insight, bro.
wow.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
No, I would say, like I said, this movie is kind of spreading a. It's not an anti-religion message. It's like
Not at all.
religion should be more about love and more about maybe a little bit more liberal too,
Boop.
a little bit more progressive
Pro-choice.
too.
No, no more.
Yeah,
Are you
it should just be
pro-choice?
about being a good person and treating people right and all that.
I
Um,
mean, but what's a good person, right? Because like even this movie, they're judging people based off things that you can't relate to today. That's one of the things Ben Affleck was telling Matt Damon. Like times have changed. You can't always use what we used back then today.
true.
So
Yeah.
That's why they got the buddy Jesus. Because
Yeah.
times have
Exactly.
changed. Bro, that Jesus statue should have been like a historical monument for the town where it is shot.
Even so, I wouldn't call this movie anti-religion because it doesn't completely shun it out.
No,
And
technically
I don't
they
know.
don't shit on religion. They just poke fun at some of the things, but they don't say that those things are wrong. Like it's not a statement movie where they make a statement. It's more like, hey, we are just going to have some fun, gonna poke fun at for some of the ideas and just walk away with it.
So, what would you?
Rate.
I think we all kind of enjoy Dogma. So, what would you
Yeah.
give it?
can you
I
say it
think
again? You're
six and a
getting
half.
cut out a little bit.
What will you give this movie? What rating would you give this movie out of 10?
I give it a 6.5. I think I was at like a 7 before, but I give it a 6.5 now. It's still pretty good. I enjoy it.
That exactly was going to be my rating. I was
Yeah.
like 6.5. Before, I used to give it 7.5, like when I
Yeah.
watched it last time. But technically, I would say, like, even though time has passed, it was still funny, so I should still let it stay. But it's just that now I
It's
don't
not.
feel it like a 7.5 movie.
So you both of you guys gave it a 6.5.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna give it a 7.5. And I was gonna rate it a 7, but I'm gonna add the 5 because I really like the inclusion of George Carlin and Chris Rock. Like I said, I do like that Kevin Smith as a director. Um, he found these comedians that already have like religion bits, right? Bits that attack religion or like question it, and he chose to incorporate them in this movie, and it made him very organic, and it just fit really well with how he did it. And he
I
could,
think
like I said, he could have added even more comedians that added that had that sense of humor too towards
and
religion.
actors, big name actors who were already established in this.
Yeah, exactly.
I,
Honestly, I kind of wish that Kevin Smith had made a movie for George Carlin where he could have like shined the way that he did in this movie, like a standalone movie for George Carlin
but
based
he
on
had
a stand-up.
a small role in this. Like he wasn't focused. That's why he
Yeah,
was
he wasn't. Yeah, exactly. He was just a cardinal in this
like
movie.
they actually got like big actual actors to be the focus, which worked. And like
But
shout out to the I don't know if I don't know if any of them are actually religious or anything, but if they are or aren't, they did a great job on this.
so yeah, the extra point five I give it for that aspect and for the fact that he was able to integrate like a social critique about religion into like an adventure type of movie about religion, and it's all very digestible and it's all very you know very likable. So that's why I give it like a 7.5. It's something that I haven't thought about in the previous version, the previous times that I've seen the movie, but this time I'm kind of being more analytical, I think, and it holds up too. But so it's like a 7 or 7.5. All right, honestly.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that is